Okay, how are you? Just back from,
Pocamongo?
No, we just sailed in here to South Africa, and we'll be heading back to Canada tomorrow.
And there's a little marina here with a bunch of more sailboats. And here's the town. And there's the crew over there. Walking around along the town. I think I'm coming by them, but still that marina. There's that boat out there. Everybody's aboard. Captain Dave is out here. Dick is still at the helm.
At least you got me while I'm still awake.
Here we are going to Stout Island, and there's a passenger ship going by. Helm's Head.
Place around. And that one's already loosen our seat over there.
Going. I mean, when I point this camera, tell me what we're at.
Okay.
We got something going.
This is.
See, your GPS is going off.
That's what's been beeping.
Oh.
Right now we're looking at Basswood Island right here.
Basswood Island.
Tail of Basswood Island. As you pan around to your right, you'll see the end of Stockton right here. We're looking right at the end of Stockton and Hermitage. Hermit Island's a little island, and then you can see Stockton behind Hermit. If you keep following Stockton along, you'll notice it disappears.
Yeah.
That's where the island's real flat, so that's exactly where we're going right there.
Okay.
The curvature of the earth, you can't see that part of the island.
Okay. And then what's over here?
The beeping.
Oh yeah.
So Hermit
What
Island
is
is that little island in the gap there?
Yep. And it's named after Hermit Island because
Now, what kind of commercial ships actually used to come through here?
well, we had ore and lumber and everything else like that. There was a famous ship called the America that my grandfather actually used to ride on.
This is Bayfield over here where we started out from. Right now we're motoring because we're going dead into the wind. This is the Porcupine Mountains in Upper Michigan, through there. And this is what's this island here? Madeline Island. And what's that?
That would be Michigan Island out there.
Michigan. That's Michigan Island.
That's kind of lighthouse.
There is Michigan.
There's a lighthouse.
Yeah, the lighthouse is right.
In a while since they tied them, you know.
Right there.
And that's the fire department not. Running bowl.
I can't hold it still enough.
You know, and
Here
they were quite a ways behind.
we had 3
They'd have to do some heavy
power boats beat us out here.
They probably gave up the lines.
It's a beautiful little spot. One sailboat in there. I don't know how many.
Well, it's flathead.
One boat. 2 boats.
Yeah. It does feel a little warm.
Yeah. We get to take the light at the top.
Oh, because it's getting warmer.
Yeah.
still warm.
What's Lloyd Switzer, and here we are. And there's the trail we're going to go on right there. Up those stairs and see you later. There's our captain. Captain Dave. Something in there, yeah. Beautiful woods. We're still on Stockton Island. We're going over to Quarry Bay, I think. Little hills and dales. Be careful, honey.
What?
I say be careful. What are we doing now?
Oh, we took
We're blazing a trail.
We're on our way to Quarry Bay. Take us all day to walk.
Here, let's see if we can.
GPS, I mean.
It's a little meadow on the trail.
The leaves look like it.
I don't know what it's called, but
Right down through here.
Oh, I see it.
what?
There's a picture, there's a
Is that an
purple
iris
flower
down there?
down there. Try to zoom it in, find out what it is.
You get his picture?
Yeah, I got his picture. Well, this goes down. So
I don't know, you can't tell. Well, maybe, because the
There's some
leaves are...
spiky leaves there.
Right.
It seems so late for irises to be blooming.
Yeah, I know, but here it's
And here's somebody outside.
not
Don't,
cool.
messing with the car. There's a bear on one side of the car. And he's on the
Little
other.
trees
Never
here.
saw him. And he walked around. He started to walk around. But he
Can't quite find it.
And we were gonna tell him
You can't
something.
find it? It's right under that, see that long branch?
Oh, I see
Looks
it
like a maple
with my
tree.
eyes. I just can't find it in the finder here.
And,
Oh, maybe I can do it this way.
a tree. Yeah. Run him up a tree and you shoot
Okay, I can find it now.
that hand. So we finished up the hand. So one of the guys walks out of the screen door and pulls the hand blowing out. Right?
Oh, what this viewfinder is, you don't see color.
Huh?
Oh, really? Yeah, they had to move him, and they said they had to move him. They moved him wrong. And they were going to move him again because they
At any rate, this is we're getting near the lakeside of Stockton. Oh boy. Anyway, we got Chumbulla Trail, Quarry Bay Trail, 2.8 miles. Who saw there? Is this Gillian Bay? Look at that sand. Now is the water usually up to about those trees?
It can be. This place really gets the erosion is in November. It just comes in like every day. You get a very big. So this is It's anchored on the dock on the lee side. So this would be a bad place to dock today.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to pull them off the shore here, and big wave probably won't push them over. The boat ended up over there, smacked with the shore upside down.
Water is clear as crystal.
We got a picture of that. We got a couple pictures. We got the crane trying to do a boat out there. Another boat, another island out there, so drag the boat out there. Shore here. That's what happens when you just start shot there. On the top, can't sail because you're at
There's my sweetheart. There's my sweetheart. Yeah, but I don't want to get a picture from inside their hull.
I don't know, but I'm about to send you over here.
Yeah, he's got it.
So you can ask your aunt what's going on all the time in person. Just came over here on a... Yeah, she won't admit it, but what she's having is what I call telephone withdrawal. Well, as long as they get inside the lifeline, Zach. You need to be inside that line, Lord. Yeah, he doesn't want to be in the water.
You better turn a little bit to the right. To the port, to the starboard.
A picture of us.
Oh, crap.
Picture of us.
I don't know.
Motoring.
Good morning.
Nice day for sail.
Lovely.
What a way to go.
He's on the motor.
We got all the evidence. God damn. Talk about going
Seats
close.
not for posterity, for legal purposes.
Right. Right on. Now she's going to go in front of them.
Always trying to get out.
See, that's the kind of stuff you run into when you're racing, you know?
Ah, she just holds her course, and he's, you know.
Yeah, but she
Well, he's motoring. Is he motoring? Or is he on the sail?
Yeah, but he's got all the sails up, so in effect
He's very fast.
he's sailing, right?
I don't know.
Are those fixed sails?
Worried about it.
You suppose those are fixed sails?
He's got
How you mean?
yeah, he's gaff. There's a gaff one. Yeah.
And there's rings that go up those main masts.
And they can just,
Maybe all three have rings.
yeah. Even the mizzen sail.
Is he standing by the mizzen mast?
Somebody's back there, yeah. Pardon?
I know there's, a couple dozen states that are like
No, but they have,
Wisconsin was one.
Well, I don't know.
but they have Coast Guard rules.
Fall in water in Wisconsin.
Right.
But they have a life jacket in the boat, but they don't have to wear it. In Texas, it's not tied to a dock. They have to wear it. Technically, I violate every time the kids go swimming off the boat when I just come out in the middle of the lake and they want to go swimming. I'm violating the law. I get a ticket because I don't know, they can go swim out the life jacket. She gets mad. I only go days I'm gonna be out there.
Yeah.
Because I feel if I'm here, I might as well
So
go fast.
middle of John Island.
That's where my enjoyment is. So I don't say like Dick. He's kind of in the boat, and that's good. I'm always under.
No, I'm
looking at this.
I look at,
You're doing well. I mean, the problem is every so often I get sidetracked by the kids, and the boat ends up swimming over here. What's going on?
well, you can kind of feel the wind, and if you get a good breeze, you can go down on it.
I didn't check. Some of them you can tighten.
We're under sail.
Ah, now she's wondering.
Well, honey, I see your jib luffing a little. I don't think you've got it trimmed well.
This is the town of Bayfield where we are in port. We were there yesterday and saw the museum, and it was really terrific. Beautiful little town. Just like a New England town.
Yeah, it does. As we get up in here, we're running dead down now, you know. I mean, you can race the tail.
The town of Bayfield. You did?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a boat we missed.
That's the show in March.
What's that?
Right.
And they're still coming.
So you figured out your plotter, huh?
I figured out, yeah, that man. Nancy, the teacher that I met over there,
Everybody's at the shoreline. They went over in little rubber dinghies. Pete and I are still on the sailboat. Watch them freeze. The water's about 60 degrees. In the center, it's only like 30. In the center of the lake, it's only like 37 degrees all year round. There's Helen standing on a rack. Her niece. There's Dick in the water, one of the boys. There goes Shelby and Lori into the dinghy to shore to swim with the rest of those guys. They're way down. Way down. It doesn't look that far from the camera's eye, but it is far. Beautiful island. Are they there yet? Coming back from the island now. Going back to go to the boat. Two dinghies and one of the kids swimming of Shelby and Lori. It's quite a ways and it's very cold. They're almost to the shore. I mean to the ship. You know how far they are. There's a ship. Having a ball. There's a boy in between still swimming. I keep swinging so it's hard to keep the pictures.
Well, we can just stand the east side of the sand island and either Justin stay or the other one.
Is that what sand is? Is that the sand up there? Huh? This sand up here?
You see York, that's the one you can see the whole thing. And then the next, you get a gap, and then that sand island back there.
Oh, okay.
This is the main one.
Pardon?
This is the main one.
Right.
Yeah, sand island on this. Then on the far, what you see in far away is actually Minnesota. That's the part of Minnesota that comes up on the north side.
Okay, yesterday.
So you can see that?
Yeah, you can see it.
Actually, I don't know if it's big.
She's got this working hard. You got to quit complaining about
Well, it's 5:15 now. By
Shelby
the
and
time
Dick
you do that,
rowing
poke
out
around
to
to
the other
see
boat. We're in Justice Bay. There's the other boat with all the kids on it. And there's where they're gonna explore these caves. Caves all along here that you can get in and out of with a boat, with a dinghy. That's really nice in there. I was sailing the boat for a long time, man. This is terrible, but Lori's taking me out to the...
We're going out to sea. Oh no, never to
Out
be
to
heard from again.
depending. We're going out to the little caves here. Should be interesting.
These are sandstone caves.
And they were formed by water running through them, right? After the glacier. Kids are over there. This has got whooping cough. Oof. Boy, this
Flashlight.
God, no. Holy Moses. Look at it. Now how are we going to move it along? Hand over hand there? Don't break our... My God.
Help me! Are you coming? I didn't go to the restroom.
Do you have your swimsuit on? Take your shorts off and just go in the water.
And just no. Here, can you hold on to this? I don't want to waste those cool shorts.
Can we get a picture of you?
Here's some ferns that are actually growing down through the rock. Unbelievable. I don't know if this will come out. Wait a minute. There's a button on here that might work. backlight, yeah. Now it'll show it.
There's a nice shot right here.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Holy cow. I'm going to put the backlight again. Boy, does that make a difference? There's a button on here for backlight.
Yeah,
That,
yeah, if you have, yeah.
if you've got backlight, you know, like you're taking a picture of somebody in front of a bright window or something,
Yeah.
it compensates for that. Oh, is this neat?
Woohoo! This is a big one.
God, yeah.
Hello!
Hello there.
Woo!
It's a little dark. There's the Andrea Doria right there. One cave right after another. Is this whole island like this?
No, not that I know. It's more this area, just this section here that I know of.
Beautiful morning. There's the sea-doos over there. There's some kayakers over here that came from, I don't know, the mainland. We saw them out on the lake. They're now by the caves. I don't know if they'll go in the caves because they're so long. Beautiful little shoreline. We're still in the bay here on Sand Island. Just got through at breakfast. The girls are downstairs. There's Lois down there doing a crossword puzzle. Say hello, honey. We're on deck now. Kids look like they're maybe gonna go do something, so they're gonna take a swim. It's freezing water. Rich is gonna come back. Dick sure likes to play with the kids. Here comes Dick back to the boat. I think he's going backwards. Say hello, Dick. Say hello.
Just rode across the Atlantic.
They're coming back from the caves, and one of them is swimming. I can't tell who it is. There's my darling in the water.
We're going to pick up Pete. He fell overboard. Lowest demand, and we go. We only got 4 miles to go. The ship is sinking.
You know, Dick has had.
You guys are doing
I got her now. I've been trying to get her for a week.
You guys are doing good.
What did you say?
I said I've been trying to get her for a week.
I told you she was pretty good.
No.
Forget it.
I would pull a little harder though, Dick. You're gonna get some headway there.
Where did Shelby go with them before? We couldn't even see them. Did they go all the way around the point? Are there more caves over there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's neat.
Yeah, we didn't
I
get
found
up to
a
that
big
side.
one after when I went with Pete.
Yeah.
We kept going, and there's another big one. Big room.
Still going. Another half hour, they'll be there.
So what are you going to store in your backpack?
What?
Do you have shoes?
Yes, I'm set. Just I would take the bug spray and 2 bottles of water, and if Kyle and Zach, Shelby, if the 2 girls or the 2 boys come over here, I'll take 4 in.
They're going to leave you here on the boat.
I just swim.
This next batch in.
Hello.
It's beautiful in here. Approaching the lighthouse, just up ahead. There it is. They're doing some repairs on it. Get it up to spiff. That's where the light was, right up there. There's Lois over there. There's the kids.
actually, we're just sort of the relief keepers. There's yesterday, and so we're out here for the next week.
Good.
But Sand Island Light was built in 1881, but things kind of started going out here in the islands before that. In 1855, the canal to St. Marie was opened, and so it opened the way for commerce to the eastern Great Lakes, which was not available prior to that. And Bayfield became a pretty big center of trade. And so the ships would be coming here through the South Canal. And as sailors, you know that the Great Lakes are not to be taken lightly. There's some pretty shallow places around the lakes. So they decided they needed a lighthouse here on Long Island. And so in 1857, they built this lighthouse, and they found out after it was all built that somebody goofed. That it was actually on Michigan Island instead. rather major disaster there. So what they did is the contractor had to put another lighthouse on Long Island at his own expense. And so that was this one, and it wasn't a very fancy one. Michigan Islands wasn't used then for a while. And so as time passed and trade also started coming over to Bayfield from Duluth down the West Passage, they put a lighthouse on Raspberry Island. And then they decided that they should reopen Michigan. But in between, people had kind of scavenged stuff from the lighthouse, and they had to do a bit of reconstruction for that. As trade went from Duluth even further out this way and kind of started bypassing Bayfield because the railroads became pretty integral, and instead of bringing stuff up here, the railroad head would be at Duluth and then you'd ship it out onto the lakes. They put a lighthouse here on Outer Island, and then because the Raspberry Island Light and the Outer Island Light still weren't giving people enough sight lines into the Apostles, in 1881 they built the lighthouse here in Sand Island. And then the last one that was built was on Devil's Island, and that's the Red Beacon. So that makes it really distinctive. Sand Island's light is built out of native sandstone. They're not sure if it was quarried from here on the island, but somewhere in the native vicinity, which makes it they call it the Seven Sisters. There are 7 lighthouses that have the same kind of floor plan. This is the only one that's built out of sandstone. When this was a functioning lighthouse, this was a bedroom. Okay. And if you look at the floor plan here, you can see that the oil room was originally at the base of the stairs to the tower. Okay. So if you were going to be up during the night checking on the light, you wanted a straight shot at it. This was a kitchen. Okay. The room over on that side was the parlor, and there's a tiny bedroom that you can only get to through that room, and then what's now the kitchen was a summer kitchen. And then there are 2 bedrooms on the second floor. You can also see from looking at the basement that about half of the basement was a wood room.
Oh, yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Particularly.
Can I ask you one question that I missed?
Yeah.
He thought he was on a different island when he was building it? They didn't have GPS then, huh?
Nope. I think the way that it's written,
latitude and longitude, though.
the way things are written in the book is there was some miscommunication between the person ordering the lighthouse and the person who built it. And just to let you know the way things went, when they decided this lighthouse was needed, there was a request for an appropriation before Congress for 10 years before the money was appropriated for this lighthouse. They cited the same kind of really hard evidence every single time. But this lets you know, this is kind of what it looked like out here in the winter time. It lets you know why there was a wood cellar that was that big. They came out at the end of April, and then they came back here. They left about the 1st of December. There were 2 keepers for this lighthouse. The first man was named Charles Letterly, and he was part of the construction crew. So he requested appointment as a lighthouse keeper and was granted. He came out here with his wife and 1 son. While they were here, another child, and then they had a 3rd child that was born in Bayfield. Because they had kids here, they started out with goats, and the goats weren't quite good enough, so they got a cow. The dock for the lighthouse was in Lighthouse Bay, and it was also shared with a local fisherman. So he left them the dressings of his fish and any fish they couldn't sell that they used to fertilize the garden. The lighthouse keeper was also granted a preserve around the lighthouse, so he could use it. He sometimes took some of the richer soil and used it to enhance his garden, and he could hunt there. And as a result, when you're hiking over here, you probably notice some of the old growth timber that was up there, because the rest of the island was definitely logged over. The thing that made this island a little bit different is that there was a community on the island, so the lighthouse keeper wasn't quite as isolated as he was when, as maybe Lincoln Split Rock, until they started having tourists. So people would come over here from East Bay, they would go over there. There was actually a school on this island. At its peak, there were 37 kids in the school. That was a little bit different too, because lighthouse keepers' children were either, basically as we say it now, homeschooled, or not much schooling at all, which was a big issue, or they were often boarded so that they could go to school until the school year finished. The first keeper, in 1885, there was a fairly spectacular wreck. It's a steamer over there called the Prussia. It was coming out of Thunder Bay, and they had hit a bad storm, and then they decided to take shelter here in the islands, but a fire developed under the boiler, and because of the huge winds, they couldn't put the fire out, and they abandoned ship. The keeper saw all of this, and because it was not a life-saving station, so they didn't have any big boats, there was the keeper and his wife and his kids. He hopped into this little rowboat that he would row into East Bay for supplies, and actually was able to bring all 7 of the men that were in the 2 lifeboats to shore and save their lives. The second keeper's name was Emmanuel Lewick. He came out here in 1891 when Mr. Letterman went to 2 Harbors. He came out here. Now, how old are you?
I'm 10.
Okay. Think about being 16. Okay. Think about being 16, marrying a man. You came from Rhode Island. You were 16 years old. You came out here and were the wife of a lighthouse keeper. Now think about in 1891 what life in Rhode Island was probably like and what life on the island was like here. I mean, it was pretty fancy because there was a town, but nothing like living in Rhode Island. Her name was Ella, and there's no records how he met her or how he courted her, but she was an absolutely remarkable lady. The Lighthouse Service had very explicit ways that you're supposed to keep your log, and there's some pictures of Ella over here, and there are also a lot of log entries that you can take a look at too. But generally the logs were to last you for about a month. 2 pages, and so you'd comment on the weather, on the wind direction. He let her write in the log. She did a very narrative style. She didn't do it in the third person or the non-person, and she would also make some pretty interesting comments. So it gave you a real good idea of what it was like to live around here. However, in June of 1905, there was an entry that said Mrs. Ella Lewick boarded the steamer for Bayfield, and she never returned. In 1906, they were divorced. And there's only in the historical records 1 reference to her. It was a forwarding address to the Baltimore City Hospital. They didn't know whether she was a patient there or whether she worked there. In 1901, he got sick. She took care of him for 3 weeks. She closed the lighthouse down for the winter and in the interim operated the light. Eventually she was recognized for that and was given some pay by the Lighthouse Service. So, also in 1905, another fairly significant thing happened, and we'll go up in the light and talk about it, but I can only take 5 people. So part of you want to wait, take a look at the books that we've got. This is a little bit better than if you were living on the coast, because you didn't have to think about salt water. Also, you got paid for the whole year. And you weren't here for 6 months of the year. People on the coast had to be working all year. Let's see. So, if you're taking a look around out here, you can see Bear Island over there. You can see Devil's Island. You can see a little bit of York. York is over here. That's one of the twins. I can't remember I think it's South Twin. You can also see some of Rocky. You can see some of Otter. Actually, if the trees were gone, you could see Raspberry. This beacon, you can see 7 miles out onto the lake. But in 1905, there was a ship called the Savona, and it had come out of Superior, and it, the year before, had gone into dry dock, and they cut it in half and stuck